Howdy all Movex Lives. I think it's time to play a little Minecraft. Alright. I'm gonna grab some diary, I think. And maybe some bone to do the back and sides of this, I think. I'm gonna have to take a look, I guess. I'm gonna head to the color room for just a quick scoosh. See what I can see. I think I'm going to mix up the diorite and some bone. Not mix it up, but I'm going to do a couple layers of bone, and then maybe some diorite, and then some bone diorite crossover toward the top. Crossover. And I want to see how it looks. Man, I don't know if I like this cobble texture now. Which one's bone? That one's bone, right? It's bone. And I don't even have diorite in here. Well, that does not help me. The idea was to compare them. Where are my item frames? What did you do to my item frames? Why would you do that to me? No, my map wall is gone. No. Why? Why? I don't understand Minecraft's fascination with item frames. Why are my item frames always broken? What could you have possibly done that removed item frames from the game? Anyways, I've got some bone blocks in here. I guess let's unload some of this other stuff I didn't need. Okay, well that helps. Oh, I don't have diorite. I was pretending. I was joking that I was gonna bring back some diorite to work with. I obviously don't have any. Let's see what this looks like though. I wish he would stop barking. Yeah, I get enough of that in the real life, and I hate it. It's not quite what I was looking for. So maybe I'll just go with diorite, but I'll use like polished. So let me put these bones back. And then I guess we'll head down underground to mine some diorite, since I'm going to need a bunch of diorite for this project. Stop barking. Oh man, I got too much stuff in here. I can't place this in here. I feel like those could probably go, whoops, in here. They could, but there's no room. Alright, well, that's probably close enough. Shut up, bird. We've got a lab puppy. He's about 5, almost 6 months old now. And they just let him bark and bark and bark and bark and bark and bark, bark and 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 bark, and they can't apparently hear it. And it drives me crazy. Uh, I can't. It makes it so I can't concentrate on things. Listen to that dog bark and bark and bark. And I bought earplugs because of it, and he barks louder than the earplugs can handle. I mean, I can't hear anything else practically, but I can hear that dog bark and bark and bark and bark and bark and bark. Last night it was after bedtime for him and the children, so he was in his kennel, which is in our living room, and then we were downstairs watching a movie, and he barked for an hour straight, and no one upstairs. There were two of us downstairs and four of them upstairs, and no one up there with the dog did anything, and just the dog barked for an hour straight. I mean, I guess I didn't do anything either, but it's one of those things where it's not my dog, and I don't feel I should have to, but they just don't care. I don't understand how you can't care. It's terrible. I tried to get him to be quiet. Did you spray him in the face with the water bottle? No, he doesn't like that. I know he doesn't like that. That's why we have the water bottle. His kennel is his safe space. He's supposed to feel like he can go in there whenever he wants to, and that's fine. All right, so you people lock him in there when you don't want to deal with him, and then he just barks and barks and barks and barks. So you have made his kennel his punishment place, not his safe space. And now you're telling me that I can't spray him with a bottle to make him stop barking? Uh, then you need to stop him from barking. However you want to do it, you need to take him out of the kennel. But if we do that, we show him that barking will get him out of his kennel. You know what? He barked for an hour straight. He barked for 2 hours straight the other day. He he don't care. He don't care. And they'll have conversations with him like that's gonna fix it. Now listen here, Rex. We know that you want to come out of your kennel. Oh, ooh, that was close. I thought I was gonna die. We know that you want to come out of your kennel, but right now you need to be in your kennel. But we need you to stop barking, okay? Stop barking, Rex. It's not okay to keep barking. There's no reason for you to. Will you just spray that dog in the face with the bottle and tell him no barking? Seriously. Oh, but if the cats touch the piano, well, then we gotta hunt through the whole house for that spray bottle so you can spray the cats for touching the piano, even though the cat's scratching post is taller than the piano and right next to the piano. I just don't understand. Uh, I mean, it's why I don't have pets. I don't want to understand. I don't want to deal with that. It's just too much of a hassle. And it's fine if you love your pet and if you're fine with the barking and you live by yourself, whatever. But they don't live by themselves. That dog is a nuisance. I'm not sure which is more of a nuisance, him or the cats. But they're all a although I mean, let's face it, I find everybody to be Everybody and everything is a nuisance to me. It's like today. Today was the graduation party for my niece and nephew. Yay! And so I'm like, all right, so what's going on? And they're like, well, we're having a graduation party and you have to go. I'm like, yeah, I figured. And they're like, oh, you'll love it. Maybe you'll like being at the party. Have I ever liked being at a party? The answer is no. I'm not a party kind of person. It is not enjoyable to me. I don't like having small talk. I don't know any of those people. And even the people I do know, we're not having real conversations about anything. None of them have real thoughts. Uh, they just meander about how they want to take their boat out and go fishing. And I don't fish, and they know I don't fish. So let's pick something that we have in common. Oh no, that's right. You just want to hear yourself talk about your boat. I guess I didn't care about talking about the boat. That's fine. Uh, but I mean, that was one of my conversations today was about taking the boat out. And I don't boat. I don't fish. Why did I need to be part of that conversation? There are other people who were at that party who both fish and take boats out. That should have been who he was talking to. I do neither. So why was he telling me about his boat? Now we did talk about video games, so that was at least in my wheelhouse. But that's a weird phrase. Why is something in your wheelhouse? What does that mean? What's a wheelhouse? I have to Google that right now. What is a wheelhouse? Okay, it's the part of a boat or ship serving as a shelter for the person at the wheel. So now why is something in your wheelhouse meaning it's something that you understand, something that you know how to use? That's seems like a weird shifting of the meaning of a word or phrase. Anyways, so I was out and about today. I got to use I don't usually travel a whole lot, and so um, they're like, all right, so we got to be there at 8 a.m. and the party lasts until um, 2 p.m. And then one of their friends is having her graduation party in the same place. And I was thinking, why didn't she just have it at the same time then? And then it saved everybody a hassle. I guess I realized after I got there why that wouldn't have been possible. And so then um, after that, I'm like, yeah, well, I don't think I want to be there at 8 a.m. and stay until 8 hours they were estimating they had to be at this place. And I'm like, I just go later, I guess. And she's like, well, brother-in-law has to be there to cook. I'm like, cook? It's a graduation party. What are you cooking? I guess they decided they were going to have breakfast, so they cooked breakfast foods. Um, I mean, I guess we must have cooked at my graduation party, but that was a thing I didn't want to be there for, and I really don't remember what went down. Um, See, it's fine for like my father or my brother, uh, my father was very talkative with people, and my brother is very talkative with people. So he was wholly in his element today, uh, going around and schmoozing all the people. Um, and I, on the other hand, sat at a table basically by myself. I wasn't by myself, I guess. I was with my nephew, but he was my youngest nephew, but he was playing on his tablet. And we just sat there because we didn't know anybody and nobody talked to us for almost an hour and a half of the time I was there. And then my cousin came. Actually, two different sides of the family cousins showed up, which I wasn't expecting. And so I talked a little bit with the one side that I almost never see, and then the other cousin I see her all the time. And so she's always all excited to talk to me. And I think she thinks it's funny because I'm not super talkative to people, which makes this an odd hobby. Um, but she, yeah, she's funny. But alright, I need to go this way. Her and her husband and kids. Talked with them a little bit. Not so much the kids. I'm not really, I haven't spent a lot of time with her kids, so I don't know. I, uh, I need time to build up how I feel about people, I guess. And, so I haven't spent enough time with her kids to make conversations with them comfortable because I don't know what they like or dislike or what they do, and the whole family's a little, maybe not the husband, but the rest of the family. It's a little on the touchy feely side for me, which means they hug each other occasionally. But I've seen them hug each other a lot, and my family doesn't. So, although my youngest niece was hugging all over me today, apparently she was feeling shy at the party. All right, now I'm down here. I don't know how to get out. There's got to be a way out. I didn't put all these torches down here this time, so somewhere is a way out. See, I put the torches on the right hand side. You know, down below where I was at, where I came down here earlier. Ha ha ha. This is what I was looking for. So I've got this, so the way out is this way. And okay, it can't be both ways, right? There's got to be a way out of here. Where's the path out, man? See, if they're on the left side, that means I'm going the wrong way. Wait, the place was small. I was surprised. Um, when I asked my sister about going over there, I didn't even know where it was at, and she was like, "Oh, yeah, it starts at 8, and I don't know, it starts at 10, but we got to be there at 8 to help set up and and all that. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, and then we're gonna help the next girl set up, and I'm like, okay. So it's gonna be like an 8 hour process. I'm like, okay, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to be there. She's like, well, you can drive separate and come in later. I'm like, yeah, that's probably what I'm gonna do then. And she's like, all right. And then she starts walking out of the room, and I'm like, where is it at? And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, is it at their house? I don't understand where it's at. Because the girl they're sitting up for is my nephew's girlfriend. And so I had no idea where where this thing was supposed to be. And she's like, oh, it's at the township hall in this town that I'm not that familiar with. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like, oh, you just got you take the third road past the bridge. I'm like, I'll Google it. Google will tell me. So I got to use my navigator today, which I don't normally. My Google navigator, which I don't normally use. Hey Google, find me the town's township hall. So I drove in places I've never been to today. Although I like to tell a story about when I was a kid and my favorite anime at the time was on, and and I grew up on a farm, and so for whatever reason, it was one of the times that my father decided he wanted us with him. It, you know, there was a lot of go play and be kids and get out of here. Uh, and so this was a time where I was like, I don't want to go because if I go, we're not going to make it back in time for my show to start. And a lot of anime is serialized, meaning every episode builds off the previous episode, and so my show was definitely one of those. Why can I never find my way out when I go caving? It's ridiculous. Maybe up here with the mushrooms. I don't know. I'm keeping the torches on the right hand side. They should just straight up lead me back out of here, but they're not. And I knew if we did this thing, uh, that hey, look at that! It finally led me back to the quarry. And I think he was getting hay or straw. I can't remember. But was in this little town about 30, 40 minutes away. And it probably wasn't that far, 20 minutes away. And so I told him, I'm like, I don't want to go if we're not going to be back in time for my show. And he's like, oh no, we'll be back. And I know when he said that, we're not going to be back. And so, sure enough, we get out there, and heck no, we weren't back for like an hour after my show was off. I was so mad. I'm still mad. That's 30 some years ago. I'm still mad about it. Uh, I'm not really that mad about it. It irritated me enough that I still remember it though. And so today, while I was going over there to that place, I drove through that little town today, and I was like, man, this is the place that ruined my show. Um, I mean, it's nothing today to miss an episode of something because you can just go watch it online, right? But back in my childhood, there was no internet, and and so there just simply was no internet. That's all there was to it. And so you didn't miss an episode of something, because if you missed an episode of something, you missed it. I'm going to open this up just a little bit more here, I think. And, I mean, I've seen the episode since, and it didn't play that big of a, a thing in the outcome of the show or anything. But, it's super irritating. It's super irritating still for people to do stuff like that. Oh, don't worry, it will go. No, it won't. You're lying right now, and you know it. It's not gonna do what you say it's gonna do. It's gonna be ridiculous, and it's gonna take way too much time, and we're never gonna get back when you say we're gonna get back. But no, this is just you being super self-centered. You just wanted us to go with you because you knew it was going to take a long time, and if we went with you, then you'd have somebody to keep you company while everything was happening, and that is why you wanted us with you on this particular occasion. Well, yeah, I like spending time. No, you don't, you liar. If that was true, you wouldn't constantly be saying, go be kids, stop hanging around here. I heard that a lot as a child. Go be kids. Go be kids. Oh, what's that? You want to do something with me? Too bad, I'm doing it with the neighbor kid. You understand, his father doesn't spend any time with him, so instead of spending time with you, I'm going to spend time with the neighbor kid. How does that work out? Anyways, I've got off on a tangent. But yeah, no, the place was pretty tiny. I was surprised. I guess cuz I went to a very tiny private school, and my niece and nephew who graduated went to a much larger school, and so I was really expecting there to be more people there today, I guess. And then there was. I mean, I was only there for 2 hours of it, but it only lasted 4 hours. So unless everybody showed up in the first 2 hours, it was not as crazy as I thought it was going to be. We got there and or I got there and I was really surprised. It probably only had mm, 4 or 6 seats at a table, and it probably only had 16 to 20 tables. Uh, and I feel like I had a bigger graduation party than they had today. But like I said, I didn't get there except for the last couple of hours. Then the girlfriend, she's her party's going on now, and I so I get there and I've already eaten. Like I woke up and I was starving, and I'm like, I cannot wait for this party to eat, and so I had a bowl of cereal, and then I get there, and I don't know what I was expecting. Nobody told me anything, and so I get there, and they're having breakfast foods, pancakes and eggs and sausage and stuff like that. And so I'm like, oh, all right. Well, I basically ate and then got in the car, and so I am not really interested in the breakfast foods, and I didn't realize that the other girls' party didn't start until way later, and so because they said, so when we get to this other thing here, I guess with this, because my sister said, we got to go to that one. It's mostly set up, but we got to cook the food. And then uh, after that, we're gonna stay for the beginning of the second one, and then uh, I'm gonna come home with you. We'll eat lunch there at the second open house, and and then I will come home with you, and the rest of them are gonna go to the fair. And so that was the plan last night. Now, obviously, no plan survives. No plan survives being in the middle of it with my family because they change their minds constantly. And uh, so I get there today, and um, and we basically went through about 12 different plans of what was going to happen today before I got out of there after 2 hours. And uh, and so my one friend, he showed up, and he's the one that talked to me about fishing boats. So my brother-in-law, he loves that kind of stuff, and so he wanted to go with him because he was going to put his boat out on the water today for the first time because he's been trying to fix the engine, and so he needs to get it out on the water to make sure everything's working correctly. That does not sound like a good time to me. And uh, and so, but he was supposed to go to the fair with his kids, but then his my niece, she wanted to go home with my friend's kids, and so she went with them, and then that just left him and his my nephew, his son, to go to the fair because my sister didn't want to go because apparently they went yesterday, and so then they didn't know if they were going to the fair, if they were going to the thing, and so I'm just like, look, I'm going, or I can stay if you're gonna go. She's like, well, I have to stay till the start of this next one, and then I can go. I'm like, all right. And so she's like, all right, so you're gonna take me home. I'm like, yep. And so when she talks to him, she's like, you know what, you can just go, and I'll just stay here, and then he can get me afterwards. And I'm like, okay. And then it was, I'm gonna go with you, and then he's gonna take the car, and then it was you take the nephew home, and then I'll be home later, and he's gonna ride with them, and then they just kept changing, and so eventually I'm just like, hey, I'm going. So like, yep, you take the kid, and I'm like, I was gonna stop and grab a pizza on the way home because I really been wanting pizza, and I if you guys are coming right home, do you want to get pizza, or should I just get pizza for myself and then you guys can figure out what you're doing later, or if you're eating here? And she's like, well, what kind of pizza are you getting? I'm like, well, I'll probably just get some Little Caesars because I like their crazy bread, and I like just a hot and ready plain pepperoni and a crazy bread. and then that'll last me for a couple of days. And she's like, well, I don't know about Little Caesars. If we're gonna get pizza, then I want Hungry Howie's. I'm like, okay, so then you're gonna get pizza before you head this way? And she's like, yeah, let's plan on that. I'm like, okay. So I think her and her husband are coming home probably about now. With pizza, maybe? I don't know. I don't know. Who knows what the plan is? That's why I hate to do anything with them, because they never know what the plan is, and they change it while you're in the middle of it. I don't work that way. I like to know the plan ahead of time. That way I can have it all ready to go. I mean, I'm adaptable, obviously. I can adapt to whatever's going on, but it'd be nice if once you made a plan, you stuck to the plan. Or at least as close to the plan as you can stick. Not, no, well, I can't even make up a plan for the first 12. I don't know what I came back out here for. I should have stayed over at the restaurant so I could figure out what I want to do for the roof. But it is definitely time to end this episode. So, click like you like. Subscribe so you can catch the next one. And I will talk to you later.